Welcome to week 2 of the training in digital pedagogy and AI integration for educators. This week focuses on a deceptively simple question, one that shapes everything we do as educators. What do we actually want learners to be able to do, and who do we want them to become? In an AI-rich world where content is abundant and tools can generate answers instantly, learning outcomes are no longer administrative formalities. They are the pedagogical backbone of meaningful education. The problem with traditional outcomes. Traditionally, learning outcomes were often written as lists of topics covered with vague verbs like understand, know, or be familiar with, and primarily to satisfy accreditation or quality assurance requirements. In many cases, outcomes were written after teaching decisions were already made. But in the digital and AI era, this approach no longer works. When outcomes are weak or misaligned, assessment becomes superficial, AI tools are misused or banned instead of integrated, and learning experiences fragment into disconnected activities. Poor outcomes produce poor pedagogy, no matter how advanced the technology. Planning backwards. A cognitive and pedagogical necessity. Contemporary learning science shows us that learning must be designed backwards. We start with 1. What learners should be able to do in complex real-world contexts. 2. Then design assessment that captures that performance. 3. And only then plan learning activities and tools, including AI. This is not a bureaucratic exercise. It is a cognitive alignment strategy. Backward design ensures coherence between cognition, pedagogy, assessment, and technology use. Without this alignment, AI becomes a shortcut. With it, AI becomes a learning amplifier. Outcomes in the AI era. What must change? In the AI era, learning outcomes must move beyond content recall. They must explicitly address higher order thinking, problem solving in uncertain contexts, digital and AI literacy, ethical judgment, collaboration and communication, and transfer of learning. This is why we align outcomes with Bloom's taxonomy to ensure cognitive depth EQF levels, to ensure academic and professional rigor DIGCOMP 2.2, to ensure relevance to digital and civic life outcomes become design anchors, not statements of intent. They determine what kind of assessment makes sense, what role AI is allowed to play, and how learning evidence is produced. Outcomes as ethical and pedagogical boundaries for AI. One of the most important ideas this week is this: learning outcomes define the ethical boundaries of AI use. When outcomes are clear, AI can support drafting, feedback, ideation, and exploration, but cannot replace judgment, reasoning, or decision-making. When outcomes are unclear, AI appears as a threat to integrity because the system cannot distinguish learning from output. Strong outcomes make academic integrity visible rather than enforceable by punishment. They shift the question from, did the student use AI, to, did the student demonstrate the intended learning? From outcomes to authentic assessment. Well-designed outcomes naturally lead to authentic assessment, project-based learning, portfolios, and reflective practice. If an outcome states that learners must evaluate, design, justify, create, or apply knowledge ethically, then traditional exams no longer make sense. Outcomes force us to redesign rubrics, feedback, assessment tasks, and learning pathways. This is why outcomes shape everything. What you will do this week. This week, you will work with outcomes as design instruments, not paperwork. You will analyze existing outcomes from your own course, rewrite them using Bloom, EQF, and DIGCOMP, identify mismatches between outcomes, assessment, and teaching, and begin planning backwards toward authentic learning experiences. This work directly prepares you for PBL design in week 4, authentic assessment in week 5, UDL in week 6, and meaningful AI integration from week 7 onward. Point. Let me leave you with this thought. In an AI-rich world, tools are powerful, but outcomes decide whether learning is shallow or transformative. If we want education to remain human, ethical, and meaningful, we must start by designing learning with intention. That intention begins with outcomes.